What's going on, guys? My name is Sequence. Today I'm going to be talking about the Fortnite community and how we're losing Epic Games' trust because they seem to show time and time again that they do not want to listen to a word we have to say. Now, there's only some few exceptions, and that makes everyone think that Epic Games is the holy grail because they have listened to us about 3 times. But I'm going to jump into it. Part of the problem is that everyone is preaching that new weapons, explosive, just new items in general makes the game a more fresh experience, when in reality we were very, very wrong. Now, I think we're willing to accept that adding new things doesn't make the game fresh, quote unquote, because Fortnite adds to the game all the time now. The community's response when they add any item to the game is more like, this is cool, I guess, but we didn't ask for it. I think we as a community have started to notice, and as well became well aware, that with all the new items in the game, how unbalanced it has become over its lifespan when it comes to weapons and explosives. Also, a little side note, adding more weapons, especially really shitty ones that no one wants, like literally no one wants or likes, makes the loot RNG way worse than it already is, and in my opinion, it's already at its worst state in a while. Back to my point, Epic has not, and from what we have seen will not, accept the fact that adding new items such as loot does not make the game more refreshing. This leads me on to my next point, that Epic had an idea of, quote, keeping the game fun and interesting to keep it feeling fresh and new, quote, which led adding 3 SMGs, buffing them, and then nerfing them. How come Epic didn't react the same way with the shotgun nerf? No one wanted that shotgun nerf. Why didn't they buff them when everyone wanted them to? I mean, they listen to us, right? No, of course they don't. Obviously, no one, or at least the majority of people, didn't like this shotgun nerf. Now, the community started to get over the whole shotgun nerf when the meta became shoddy SMG because it was more acceptable then, it wasn't a horrible meta. But then here comes Epic back with yet again another one of their stupid ways, and they decide to buff the SMG. Now to remind you, they've already been buffed previously. So this is their second buff. This was, I'm pretty sure, before they added the Tommy gun that they had already buffed SMGs. So after they added the P90, they started buffing the SMGs again, basically making the shotguns in the game useless, making the SMGs a more viable option. Now, the community started noticing that the very horrible meta we know now, the SMG meta, this meta is very intensive. It can lead up to people carrying 3 SMGs at a time, which is insanely stupid. And it's almost wiping out shotguns as a whole, because honestly, when I see the damage done with an SMG compared to a shotgun, it just almost doesn't relate. And I just feel like you can hit more shots with your RNG balloon-based gun than you can with your more consistent shot-hitting gun. It's really sad to see happen, and it's not what I want to happen. Now, when Epic decided to add the P90, obviously the day of release was a shit show. The fire rate was way too high, the damage was way too high, and it was a literal laser beam. Epic addressed this all by nerfing those 2, and ever since, the SMG meta has taken over. No one likes it. I've seen a few tweets from Cloaksy about it. I've seen some from Symphony. I've seen some from Gangstar Cease. If you don't know who he is, he's pretty beast. But I said earlier that Epic Games does not listen to us. This is because they don't. They only make changes when they know they will lose player base rapidly if they don't fix what has been done. For example, the shotgun nerf was the worst update, in my opinion, besides Tilted, that has ever came out. But it wasn't game breaking. If anything, it just gave you a reason to use shoddy SMG meta, so it really didn't hurt the game. But the P90, on the other hand, was a repellent to players and really made the game unplayable. Whenever a huge population decreases probable and the game's playability is on the line, it's the only time they make changes, or as some like to say, they listen to the community, when all reality, they only care about their numbers and it's only just to save their game. Now, my last point is that Epic tried to mess with their core mechanics by making a statement saying, quote, it's important to support a variety of late game strategies that don't boil down to, quote, just build, lol, unquote. Now, before I get into this point, a YouTuber by the name Jed thoroughly explained this point very well. I think he's going to explain it way more than I did. Go check out his video. That's in the description. He's the one who basically inspired me to make this video. So, long story short, you should never, ever touch your core mechanics of a game. I saw it firsthand with H1, so did Jed, and other games like Call of Duty. Basically, H1 changed their whole shooting model, their movement, and the aesthetics, like the colors in the game, and no one really liked it. That's why they have a 5,000 player base now instead of 150,000. While COD, on the other hand, added jetpacks. We all know the route that game took. Now, I think there's a little bit of hope with BO4, but from what I'm seeing, not a lot of people are liking the beta, but also a lot of people are liking a beta, so it's more of a 50-50 split, kind of like how World War II was, so I don't really see it going anywhere. So basically, to sum it all up, Fortnite needs to listen to the community. But at the same time, guys, just admit to your mistakes and make the game better. Stop making the same trash mistakes that no one wants. By adding new items, stop changing the meta, anything like that, you're just losing trust in your community because you think you're doing better for the game, when in reality, 1, no one asked for it, and 2, it's making it worse, and it's driving away people. You shouldn't be messing with the metas that no one wanted to be messed with in the first place, because the shotgun meta for close range was the best meta, because it was consistent. If you hit your shots, you hit your shots. Now, they could have made the pellet spread a little bit less, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, no one's going to recognize this game if they keep going down this route of just like really horrible updates. They're really taking 1 step forward every time they make an update and then 2 steps back. So it's just not really healthy for the game. It's not going to go somewhere anymore. If anything, they're losing players right now. I don't even have to look at numbers. I know they're losing players. It's just shown day in and day out like how many streamers don't enjoy the game and how much they're just streaming it to keep their money and their revenue coming in so they can pay their bills, stuff like that. That doesn't apply to everyone, but what I'm saying, a lot of people are just playing, or streaming, just to keep their bills going. So Epic Games is basically going to lose all their credibility in the industry, and no one's going to trust them again with the decisions they make, because it's just this game, it has basically their company by the balls. Whatever they do with this game, if it goes down the shitter, no one will probably trust Epic Games with another game. It will probably be successful if they make another one, but what I'm saying is anytime they come out with an update with that new game, let's say they make one, it's not going to be very well received. So just keep that in mind, Epic. You really need to build your trust back up with your community like we once did. Now, I can come up with a few times that Epic listened to their community. So when back all the way in December, they messed with the sensitivity settings on console, I'm pretty sure. I don't even think it happened with PC. And they also messed with the aim assist, and they instantly, like maybe 3 hours later, maybe that was the most time it took, they instantly reverted that update. They're not like this now. They're very stubborn. They don't have the same mindset that they used to. The community, they're not always right, but the majority, the people who agree with more than the people that disagree, they sometimes have a point, and you just need to listen to them. When you reverted that, it was very well received that you want to listen to your community. Now, everyone's saying that when the SMG nerf was them listening to their community, it really wasn't, because when was the last time they listened to the community? Who remembers jetpacks? Those didn't come out of the game in a split second. That took about a month, maybe 3 weeks. I'm not really positive the exact time, but I think it was a month. And it just took them that long to take out a really horrible item in the game that no one wanted. And it was told maybe a week after to take it out. So that just tells you how bad their communication with their community is. Anyways, to end off the video, I want to tell you what I want to see personally in Fortnite gameplay-wise, just so it can be polished and be back the way it was used to be. Now, what I think is they should make the top dogs the shotguns, because those are fun to use. They actually reward you with your shot. You can't really get screwed over by them, per se, as much as you could with an SMG, because really, it's just whoever gets lucky with the SMG because of Bloom. It's not very consistent or fair. So that leads me on to my next point, is just stray away from Bloom. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't think there's going to be a way to stray away from Bloom overnight. You're going to have to be creative with it. Just try to get away from it, because it's not a fun mechanic. And every time you lose a gun battle to Bloom, it's just very demotivating to play the game in the first place. The other day, I uninstalled Fortnite. It just was not fun. And so I don't know what they think they're doing with this game. But stop changing the meta that no one wants changed is my last suggestion. Everyone, like I said, was really fine with the shotgun SMG meta that kind of appeared after the shotgun nerf, and no one really had complaints after that. Like, yeah, people were like buff the shotguns a little bit, but it wasn't to the extent where everyone wants the SMGs gone as a meta. You know, we can have 2 SMGs. I don't know what was wrong with that. I don't know why Epic decided to add 3 more SMGs, but that is just completely insane. I disagree with it. But anyways, if y'all enjoyed the video, slap a like on it, subscribe, hit the notification, do whatever. And yeah, it's been Sequence. I'm out.